today I wanted to show you my Ipsy bag that I got.
Ooh,
So I think it's the Glam Bag. It's the one where you get full size products instead of just little samples because I've gotten samples in the past and I'm like, I really like this and I can't find it anywhere.
oh, really? See, my concern would be that now I have a bunch of full-size products I don't like.
Well, so I was thinking that since I'm spending it's like $35 a month.
My God.
It's pretty pricey. But I thought the products that I don't want, because I have like nieces and a younger sister, I was like, I can just save those and give them to them.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
I've heard people
so,
resell them too.
huh?
People like resell them like online.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. That's too much trouble. I can't be
Yeah.
able. So this is the bag this month. Um, it's cute, and you get a bigger bag with the Glam one, obviously, because it's got full size products. Uh, So it comes with, I think, 5 products. I put a few others in here because all of my makeup, other than my foundation, is from last month and this month's.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Um, okay. So the little bag. I love the bags. Um, so my first impression was because last month I got like 2 different hand creams. I got this one, it's like a moisturizer for dry skin, and then some other hand cream. So I get this hand cream, and I'm like, do I really need another hand cream? I mean, it's a
Yeah.
cute box, don't get me wrong. It's got little foxes, and they look like they're water painted. And, anyways, it's Library of Flowers Forget Me Not. So I'm like, another hand cream? I haven't even used the hand creams I already got. Thanks. I really needed that. But then I opened it and I'm thinking, this is pretty fancy just for a little thing of hand cream. Like,
Yeah.
you could have just sent me this part. I don't need this whole box. This adorable box, as cute as it is. I don't need that. Um, but it smells wonderful and I love it. It's my new favorite hand cream. So I was happy with that, even though I didn't feel like I needed another hand cream. Then you know how to.
I'll say you might be better off just like taking pictures and then just like posting them on it after.
Maybe if I feel like doing that. So I got that. Then I get a huge thing of blush. It's called, you can't see it, but it's Ofra brand. And it's the same brand. Last month I got a lip gloss that was the same brand, OFRA. Never heard of it. But this lip gloss I'm wearing, I have tiny lips, so don't judge it based on my lips. I got this huge thing of blush, and I was like, I didn't consider that whenever I was getting full size products, and I get a whole big ass thing of blush. Like I don't even wear blush usually.
Yeah, I don't actually know how to put blush on, so
So, but it's a really pretty color. So I actually wore it today. I don't even know if
nice.
you can tell, but instead of using my bronzer, I use that, and I actually like it. It's a pretty color. It's called Blush Rose. Um, it was a little bit of a. It's a pressed powder, but it was pretty loose. Like one brush with my thing, and it was like loose powder everywhere. And I'm like, that's a bit much, but
I've seen
it's
that
pretty.
if you take like just like a dab of water and just put it on there, it'll fix that.
Yeah, I may have to try that. Um, then I got a gel eyeliner pencil, and so I'm an expert at doing my wing liner. Like I
You
can do it.
are so jealous.
Like I'm an expert at it. So I'm thinking, ooh, a new gel liner. My other one's actually about out, so that's great. I won't have to buy any.
You don't like it?
I actually do like it. Surprisingly, I did not think that I would. So I get it and I open it. It's called One Size Point Made Bodacious Black, and I put in there that I only want black eyeliners because that's all
Yeah,
I
you
wear. I don't.
I was gonna say you will only do
It's a
black.
pencil. I was like, oh, I don't use
I
pencil.
prefer the pencils.
Well, I don't. Like I said, like my wing liner, like I get a super thin point, and I'm like,
Yeah, for the gel liners and the winged, like you need a gel. You
yeah.
can't do it with a
So,
pencil.
anyways, so I use the pencil, and surprisingly,
Yeah, that looks
I
really cute.
feel like it worked really well. And so, yeah, I was really impressed because I don't ever like pencils.
I feel like I have more control with the pencil because I have a gel liner that I really like. And I use it and I just feel like I don't get it really well. And I just ordered a new version of it that has like a wing applicator. So I'm very excited to try that because I've actually never done winged eyeliner because I'm terrified of winged eyeliner.
So the way that I do it with my normal brush, and I'm an artist and I paint, so that's
Yeah.
probably why I like the other type. But I do a line out to where I want it and make sure it's really tiny, and then go
Yeah.
back in on the top and just kind of do like a, and it's like done,
Yeah.
and then I just fill it in. It's literally like the outline is like one swoop on each side, and I'm pretty well done other than filling it in. So it did take longer to use this because I'm not used to the pencils, but I was really impressed with it. So there's that. And then I got Hey Honey Lifting Eye Serum, which I used. I don't know if it lifts that well. I don't know, but I'd have to compare it to other weeks, I guess.
Just look and determine how tired you were.
It's you can't see it. It's too bright in here. I'm sorry. But anyways, Hey Honey, Open Your Eyes Lifting Eye Serum. It felt nice. Then I'm telling you, it was a lot of things where I'm like, what in the fuck is this? This is not something I would ever buy. But so far, I've liked everything. It's this, and I thought, oh, it's a lipstick. Looks like a lipstick, doesn't it?
It does, but there's no way.
Eyeshadow.
Really?
Like, what a color. Like, it's like,
ooh, it looks like the lip gloss. Yeah.
I know. I was like, it's About Face matte fluid eye paint. I loved it. I don't really, the color is okay, I guess.
I like the color. I
But,
think it looks
put
really
a few
pretty.
dots and then rubbed it in. But what I loved is I'm used to using powder eyeshadow. I don't ever use cream eyeshadows. And so I always get some down here and then I look like I have big back from where the pigments sometimes fall or are loose. Didn't have that at all. So I think this has probably changed me to cream eyeshadows. So I'm probably going to check them out and look for other colors. Because, I mean, this color's fine, don't get me wrong, but it's not my color. I usually use more of like a tan, natural, where it just kind of looks more like a shade, a shadow.
Yeah.
Because I have hypothyroidism and my eyes tend to bulge if I don't shadow in there. It looks like I'm just like Fester Adams, and that's not the look that I want. So yeah, and then I used the lip liner that I got last week that was also the Ofra, and the mascara that was the Victoria Beckham that I really liked that I got last month. So everything other than my base, and my base is just basic CoverGirl Aqua Smooth.
I like CoverGirl. Like that's what I use for my stuff too. It's super cheap and it works just fine.
Normally I use I think it's True Blend.
Yeah, that's why I use
lighter shade, and I've been using my fake tanner, and so I'm a little bit dark. You can't tell, obviously, because I'm the palest person that's ever existed.
Like a whole other person.
But this is me with a tan. So I'm using Creamy Natural instead of Creamy Ivory.
Yeah, you're like I'm using just like pale instead of ungodly ghostly pale.
Pretty much. So yeah, that was my bag this month. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know that it's worth $35. But I like everything that I got, and I like the surprise of not knowing, what I'm going to get. And I don't ever look, because I think you can look at your email to see what you're going to get. I don't know, but I don't check my emails, so.
Yeah,
I'm so bad about not checking my emails, but like someone, like, I don't know, like bill people or whatever will call and leave a voicemail, and I'm like, why don't they just email me? But then I'm like, I don't check my emails either. So
you don't answer the call and you don't want to answer the call, so it doesn't matter.
Texting me is the easiest way to contact me. Because then I know you're trying to reach me. I'm going to read that, and then I will make the decision whether or not to contact you back.
Yeah, probably not. I won't do it, but at least I'll know.
But I'll know that you tried to contact me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been ordering new stuff of all my makeup because I know that makeup expires, and I never really thought about it. And they're like, you should be replacing your eye makeup every 3 months because of like bacteria and stuff. And I'm
3
like,
months, I
no,
think
you
my
use it
normal
until
eye
it
makeup is like
dies.
2 years old.
Yeah. And they're like, you know, your foundation this. And I bought the air styler months ago.
Yeah.
It finally came back into stock and I love it. You know, I bought it because I know that at some point I'm going to be going back to the office and I wanted, you know, my hair to look nice. And you know, we did that other video and it was super expensive. It was $550. I love it. I use it every time I dry my hair. And the biggest difference that you can tell, because I've only used the brush attachment, I don't have enough layers in my hair right now to use the round brush. So I've just been using like the flat brush. And the flyaways, I mean, it's such a drastic difference of like how smooth my hair is. And it dries quicker, it looks nicer, it still feels healthy.
Isn't it
So
like no heat?
it's not no heat, it's just like a safe level of heat.
Yeah.
And it uses just like the Coanda effect to dry. So it's like safer for your hair instead of like just blowing air at it. So I don't know exactly the science behind it, but it makes my hair look really great, which is fantastic because it was so expensive, but in my opinion, totally worth it. One day I will be brave enough to curl my hair, but it takes so long to curl my hair that I'm just not willing to. And that's what the same thing with makeup. It's like, you could get better at makeup. You just have to practice. I'm like, put on makeup for no reason, just to practice. No, screw you. So it's the same thing. I'm like,
I'm more likely to put on makeup just to sit at home than I am when I go somewhere. Unless it's
I
like
get
a bar or like something fancy. But
I get annoyed when I like put on makeup and I look really good and then I have nowhere to go. So I'm just like, no, if I do it, I'm gonna like do it right. So I did that and then I just replaced I use Lash Princess mascara because it's not waterproof because I switched to using not waterproof mascara because one, my eyes are not wet enough to need a waterproof mascara. And it's better for your eyes because it comes off easier, but it makes them super long. So I ordered that. I ordered the new liquid liner. I ordered new powder for my brows because my brows are weird. And then what else did I order? I ordered like a color correcting palette because you can't see it, but I have like this like pimple right here that just like will not go away. So I was like reading and they're like, oh, if you do this, it's got, you know, all the colors. So it's got the green to cover the red and it's got, you know, the this to cover the this. So I'm excited to try that because I've never tried those before because I was always like, I don't care what my makeup looks like.
Lily has, it looks like rosacea, but it's not. We went to a dermatologist about it. It's just where like rosacea is like some sort of irritation of the skin or something.
Mm-hmm.
Where hers is perfectly fine, healthy. There's no acne. There's none of that. It's just the capillaries are close to her skin.
Okay.
And they tend to swell as her blood pressure changes. And so, depending on her blood pressure, that's how red her face is. So, even though her blood pressure won't be skyrocketed, if it elevates just the tiniest bit, her cheeks are almost purple. Like, her turns so red. So, I got her a color correcting thing, which she doesn't ever wear makeup. Like, I wouldn't say a tomboy, but she doesn't care about those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I've used it on her just to test it, and the green in it really helped take out the redness. So I was like, I know that you don't want to use this every day, but like when you have an event or something, you know,
yeah, you have
in front
it.
of people, you may want to use that. Just because like she's so used to it, it's been that way like almost her entire life. So you know, she doesn't even really care. But you know, if you're gonna be in front of people, you want the focus to be on whatever you're doing, not you know, whenever your cheeks get super red. So
yeah. So I got that, and then
they'll be like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Your cheeks are so red." She's like, "Yes."
you're like, don't worry about it. And then my like 2 weeks ago, I got my my nudes palette lip gloss palette from Carity. And I am very excited about it. I've never been like a nude palette person because I don't know, I just never thought about it. And I was like, no, I want to do this. You know, I should be trying it for work. I want to do less pinks and more natural colors. So those finally came after my like fiasco with the post office trying to get them. So they finally came and I'm using them. I'm using just like the clear gloss right now. And I really do like it. I think the last video I used one called All That. And it was funny because I was putting them on and then taking a picture on Snapchat and then putting the thing so I know what they look like. So when I'm like trying to decide what color, I know exactly which one is.
Yeah.
But I put on the one last week that said all that. And I was like, I feel like all that. Like, this is great. So I was like, accurately named. And then there's like a creepy one, which I was originally against, but actually I kind of like it, that like matches my skin exactly. So I'm like, it's not like ugly, but it's a weird, like, I don't know when I would ever use it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I like trying to get all of my stuff together because as they're, lifting all the mandates, as like all the states are opening back up, you're going to have to go back to work and you're going to have to like look like a human person again.
I'll be wearing a mask covering.
Yeah. Well, and I'm excited about the one thing with the mask. I can wear lipstick again because I hate putting on lipstick because I'm like trying to like keep it away from my face so it doesn't ruin my lipstick when I like can go in and take it off at a table. But yes, I'm like trying to get all my stuff together for that. And just kind of get ready. And I saw a funny tweet today that was like, if the CDC could chill out for a second, I'm still trying to determine what size clothes I wear now. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so right. So we're all just like sitting at home in our sweatpants and you don't need, to look super nice. And now it's like,
So about that, so I went to the doctor on Thursday and I've gained 50 pounds since like September of last year.
oh no.
And so that was about the time that I started throwing up when I would eat red meat. So I had to stop eating red meat. I stopped in November. Um, so I was very devastated. Like I knew I'd
I
gained
bet.
weight since like a year ago, but I didn't realize I had gained that much just like since last fall.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy shit. Then, so my blood sugar was normal, and I've had diabetic issues in the past. And normally, I would just do low carb and get my sugar lined out, and I'll be good to go. Um, I never was diabetic, and I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with Sagan, who will be 5 next month. And then instead of it going away after having him, it developed into type 2.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
You're
I
like the
did
gift
low
that keeps
carb, and
giving.
I was actually the weight that I am right now whenever I developed type 2. So I did low carb and dropped like 50 pounds, and I was good. Like I was below pre diabetic levels on my A1C. And I'd stopped taking medicine, like I wasn't doing anything other than just trying to eat low carb. Well, when you can't eat red meat, it's kind of difficult to eat low carb.
Yeah.
So for the last month or two, for the most part, I've really been trying. Like I've been walking regularly. I've nothing fried. Like maybe once a week, if we eat out, I would eat something fried. But I've been trying not to eat fried stuff. Um, just like instead of buying chips, I've been buying the carrots and
Yeah.
apples and all the healthy
You
and
get the message. She's like,
trying
I'm
to
eating carrots again.
live a healthier lifestyle. And instead, I was gaining more weight. And I'm like, what the? I've stopped eating, like binge eating after dinner, because I'm real bad about not eating all day and then eating dinner. And then it's like it kick starts me wanting to eat.
Yeah.
And then I would binge eat after dinner. So I've not been doing that. I've been getting better sleep. Like I've been going, you can attest that I've been falling
Yeah.
asleep at like 9 or 10 every night, which is not me. And at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, it's like I'm wide awake, and I have never in my entire life been that person. Like I'm not. I'm a stay up till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
sleep
It's
till
always so weird because I'm like, I'm up until 1 in the morning because I do sleep in because I work so late and like trying to send her messages and she's asleep. And I'm like,
that's
yeah,
not
like she
me at
used to
all.
be up until 2 in the morning. I'd be getting
Normally,
messages from her and I'd be seeing them in the morning and
normally I say like I'm up till like 2 or 3, and then would sleep till noon. But even I would still sometimes even get up early and just only get like 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and that'd
yeah.
be it, and I'd be fine. Like, but I've been sleeping really good. So it's very frustrating to have
Yeah.
gained weight. Then, since fall, my cholesterol has gotten worse,
Oh,
and my triglycerides, which are the fats from like red meats, had significantly gotten worse. And she was like, "Have you been eating a ton of red meat?" I was like, "No, I
no.
haven't eaten any red meat." So there was that. And then my A1C for my blood sugar. So my sugar was normal, But the A1C is like over the last 3 months, what it's ran, the average, it was too high. It's at the higher end of the pre diabetic levels. Um, so I was like, oh God, I'm getting close to being diabetic again. So I'm going to try to do low carb. I've done it since Thursday, and we pre-record, so it's Sunday night tonight, and I've lost 4 pounds
Oh, very
since
nice.
Thursday. But I also ate a shit ton of the sugar-free Reese's, which clean everything out of your body. So I really think I've just lost 4 pounds of shit. So there's
I've
that.
done that too, where like sometimes I'm like, listen, I just weigh too much, so I'm just gonna like figure this out real quick.
But I can already tell a difference, like in my neck. So, like, I have the thyroid problem, hypothyroidism, and it sometimes feels like I'm just choking, like I'm just like something's grabbing me, and it ain't that kind of like fun grab. It's like the annoying, like I can't breathe. I feel like I'm
Yeah,
suffocating, and I feel like there's less congestion around my neck. Um,
nice.
so I don't know if it's just bloating is better. Um, or what. I don't really know what it is. I don't really care. It may all be in my head because I'm
Yeah,
crazy. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. As long as I feel better, that's all that matters. So yeah, 4 pounds since Thursday and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days. It's not bad.
yeah. When I started, so like before I got the job that I have now, I worked in a kennel, and it was just like a really physically demanding job. So I was just like working out. I was burning like 3,000 calories before noon. And I wasn't eating at work because like they didn't want you to like eat, and there was really no like break room, and I worked with like the dogs, so it was like I'm just gonna eat when I get home, and I was too lazy, so I'd like eat fast food. But because I was working so hard, it didn't matter, and I was actually losing weight, and it was really great. Well, then I switched to an office job, and then I gained God, yeah, almost 50 pounds a over 2 years, with the majority of it being the first year. And and so I was kind of just like, I'm like, no, we're not doing this. I was like, I don't want to do this. Like this sucks. I was feeling great. And so now I'm like trying to like work out more, and I'm trying to like eat better. And I did just order, it just came, and it sucks because I'm house sitting right now. So I can't use any of the things. My toaster oven broke. And I don't know if I've told you before, I hate my oven. I
Yeah.
hate using the oven. Preheat is the devil. Like I am not a patient person. And when I have to heat up my whole oven for 10 to 15 minutes before I can start cooking my food,
Yeah, I
it
don't
makes
wait.
me it makes me homicidal.
I'm
Yeah.
one of those who's like, now if I remember to start it before I start prepping, I'll do that, and then it'll actually get to preheat before I stick my food in the oven.
Yeah.
But generally, Miss ADD here doesn't think to do that, and so then it's
Yeah.
like I've got everything ready. Shit, I didn't preheat ovens. Then I have to pre or turn it on. I'm like, fuck it, and I just stick it in there because I'm like, I'll just cook it longer.
Exactly. And so it takes too long to preheat. So I was like, if I get a toaster oven, that solves that issue. I'm only making food for me. There's no reason that I would need to like make enough to feed a bunch of people, because uh even if I'm like making food that I want leftovers for, I can make that in my toaster oven.
Yeah,
So I have my toaster oven. I don't need to preheat it. It auto shuts off, which is another, I'm so paranoid about leaving my oven on. I don't know if they make it. If they do, I will buy it, an oven that auto shuts off, because I have turned my car around when driving to double check that my oven
the
is
newer
off.
ones might do that after so long. Maybe not, but
Or like an app that I can like check.
that would
Um,
be handy.
yeah, so I hate that. And for that reason, I'm the same way with like my stovetop, where I'm like, I don't want to use it, because with the stove, like usually when I'm cooking, I'll have to turn it to low at some point, and then it's not, because I have an electric oven. So then the coils go back to normal color, and then I forget that I have it on still, and then I just leave it on, and then I freak out like an hour later when I still have my oven on. The toaster oven, that is a non-issue. It automatically shuts off, and I love that feature. and your food cooks quicker. They're like, when you use a toaster oven, you cook it 30% less time. And I'm like, thank God, because I really do want it to take 30% less time to cook my food.
Yeah.
So in the middle of cooking a pizza, my toaster oven breaks. And I didn't realize it until I went to like take my pizza out, and I was like, it kind of looks done. It kind of doesn't. And I like cut it and I was like, oh, that is still cold in the middle. Awesome. And I'm like looking at my toaster oven. And it's not like doing it. It's had a good run. It's been 3.5 years. I got it when I moved into this apartment. So I was like, I'm like, yeah, that wouldn't make sense that it's going to stop doing that. So then I had the debate of replace the toaster oven, get an air fryer. And then I was debating between those two. And I was like, should I just get them both? Because I love chicken Kiev. And I eat it for breakfast because it is high in protein. It's delicious. And it's very quick to,
What is it?
chicken Kiev. It's just like chicken breast, and it's got like butter and herb in the middle of it. So you put it in the oven, and then so you put it in the oven, and then the butter like melts into it, and then you cut into it, and you have that like cool sauce that comes out. Yeah, so it's delicious. And I buy them frozen because I'm very lazy, but I did look up a recipe to make them myself, and it looks like a lot. So I'm not going to do that. Because I'm like looking at it and I was like, oh no, this is $1 frozen, and I actually really like the Dollar brand. So I was like, I can make it in the air fryer. It seems like it's going to be messier in the air fryer because it does like leak out a little bit of the like butter. So I was like, should I just replace the toaster oven? And then I was like, well, fuck it. If I'm going to replace my toaster oven and get an air fryer, I might as well get the Instapot too, because nothing matters anymore. So it's like, just replace the whole kitchen.
It cooks really fast.
What does?
It cooks really fast, and it cooks it like it's more moist and tender, like when I cook meat in it, than if I cook in the crock pot all day long, and it takes like 45 minutes.
But I still can't cook my chicken Kiev, which was the main issue, because most of my food is like, I'll do like raw vegetables, and then I do frozen lean cuisines because I've been too lazy to cook. And then, the only like thing that I'll cook in my toaster oven is these chicken Kievs. It's like, I really don't want to find a new breakfast food. I really like it. It starts my day off well. So yeah, so then I'm like shopping between them and trying to pick the best brand, and there's so many. There's just so, and then there was the whole like trying to pick the air fryer, and then I finally picked that. And then I was like debating between the Instapot, and I was like, I don't need the 6-quart. I am only one person. Like, I need the mini. So then I got the mini, and then the mini is like, do you want the refurbished one? It's 50%. And I was like, yes, I do. And so then I was like, well, I wonder if my air fryer. So then I'm looking, and there was an Instapot air fryer that also had a refurbished that was like 60% of the original price. And I was like, okay. So then I was like, let's see if they had my exact toaster oven from like the updated version of it. It looks exactly the same. Same thing, super cheap. And then I used my credit card points. So I was able to get all 3 of those for just the cost of the air fryer at full price.
Crazy.
I know. So I'm very excited. They all came in the mail, and I can't use them because I'm not home.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm just like, I'm dying, and I'm like, I want to try them so bad because I want to try making more food. I've been like pinning a lot of recipes on Pinterest because I miss cooking, and I miss making my own food. And I don't want to keep eating lean cuisine because, I want stuff to be fresher, and I want to like eat more vegetables because I'm not like.
I liked doing the meal prep for like when I was doing it for Jeremy. Like I liked doing that, but he was bad about when I meal prep, he would eat that day, but then he's going to have to heat them up, and he's not good about doing that. So then half of them would go bad, before they would be eaten. So I was like, well, fuck it. I ain't even going to bother.
I used to meal prep, and I used to spend like all day Sunday meal prepping, and I would do it like once a month. And I had like 5 or 6 meals that I would just like do. But my issue was that 1, I would forget to take them out of the freezer. And then 2, you only have 5 or 6 meals. So it gets boring really quick, where even if you do take something out of the freezer, you're like, Oh, good. Chicken bacon rice, ranch rice again. That's exactly what I wanted. Cool. And you're like, no, I'm stopping at Wendy's. So I'm hoping because I do have the Instapot now, like now it's like it can do the frozen chicken thighs too. So they're like, get the boneless chicken thighs and you can, cook it in there and it'll just take like 3 minutes longer. So I'm like, oh, if I like prep rice and quinoa in advance and then I have, my greens already pre-cut and like in the fridge, then I can just cook this chicken and any like sauce I want and then it's just done. And it's just like a
Do
fresh
you use
thing
a
that I can eat.
microwave?
Hmm?
Do you use the microwave?
Not much. I mean, like I said, I use it to like heat up my like frozen stuff, but
Plus, I get those like 90-second rice packs, and you just cut the top a little
yeah,
bit and stick it in there for like as a I need something to add to this to add substance, just to. Of course, now that I'm gonna be doing keto, I'm not gonna be eating rice, but it was just like a quick, easy thing to make something feel more healthy.
well, I love my rice cooker. Like I use the
Oh,
rice
see, I don't
cooker
have
all
a
the
rice
time. Yeah, and now my rice cooker is obsolete because the Instapot cooks rice. So I was like, if I
Yeah, I
get the
do have an
Instapot,
Instapot, and I knew it was supposed to also be a rice cooker, but I've never tried it.
yeah, so like yeah, so I'm like, okay, if I get the air fryer and the Instapot and this, I can replace a bunch of these other kitchen gadgets. So like it kind of works out. So I have that. Something I really like to do is coconut milk quinoa. So if you want like quinoa for breakfast, you just get a can of coconut milk and you just like put that in there with your quinoa and it just cooks it. So instead of making it in water, you cook the nuts, so it's a little bit sweeter. And then you can put like your fresh fruit or your honey or like whatever on top of it. And then it's like a protein packed breakfast. That's really good. So I love coconut. Like there,
I
it
love
is just
coconut.
coconut is a perfect, I don't know what it is. I want to say fruit. I feel like that's not right. Coconut is a perfect
It's probably
food.
a nut. It's a
All
coconut
right,
nut.
you got me. Um, but like, yeah, so like I use the coconut milk. I've made the coconut milk ice cream, which it's good, but it's not like soft serve consistency because I'm not making an ice cream maker and I just cannot justify $60 for an ice cream maker. So but I've made that. I use in my quinoa. I use coconut aminos instead of soy sauce because I'm not supposed to be having soy. I found out coconut sugar is a thing, so now I'm replacing like coconut or regular sugar with coconut sugar. And I want to say that coconut flour is also a thing. So the only thing I
I
don't
use
like,
coconut flour. Coconut flour and almond flour are things I'll use when I'm eating keto.
yeah,
Not use regular flour.
yeah, the only thing I don't like that comes from a coconut, I was telling you about this. I don't like coconut milk. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't like
Or
coconut milk.
not, if the like the coconut water or
Yeah,
whatever, like
yeah,
it's just
the juice, the
yeah, whatever it is, it has a weird taste. Like I want to believe because I love water. Um, and I want to believe that coconut water is going to taste like water with like a little bit of coconut flavor. It's not. It's just like thick and gross. And like even adding other flavors to it. And I'm like, I don't like this. It's weird to swallow. It's weird to drink. It doesn't taste great. So like I can't get behind coconut water no matter how many times I try. And I try like once every few months to be like, maybe now's the time. Because growing up, I never ate vegetables. And then as an adult, I'm like, maybe not all vegetables are bad. And then I'm eating them. I'm like, this is delicious. Like, I can't believe I've gone my whole life not eating these things.
yeah.
So,
I
yeah,
love,
coconut water. I won't get behind it.
I'm a zucchini person. I love zucchini.
I love zucchini too.
I love potatoes also, but
I do too, but you can't eat so many.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna like gradually get back into keto because I'm started this stupid meal prep stuff. Well, they're not keto meals, but I thought if I eat keto all day long and then just have whatever's with the one meal that has some carbs, maybe it won't be too bad and will help my blood sugar.
I think part of it too is making sure that you're eating enough because I know part of my
Yeah,
issue.
like I've been eating eggs every morning. Friday, Saturday, and today I ate eggs. Um, and I've eaten because my good cholesterol was too low. So I've been eating more avocados than I normally eat, to add the good fats. So I'm trying.
Yeah, I found out when I first started like looking into the nutrition and the like things like that, I was like, oh, I'm not eating enough. Like I'm eating enough calories, but I'm eating them all in one meal. So my body was just like always in starvation mode, always just like,
That's
because
what
it's not
she
even like I'm
was
eating
going
at the
on with me.
same time every night. Like if I imagine if I was eating at the same time, my body would be like, we know she's going to eat at 5 p.m. No, my body is like, store it all as fat because we have no idea when this bitch is going to eat again. Like just store it. So I've been
Yeah,
trying to
that
be
was one of
more.
the things she said that whenever I started eating healthy a month or two ago, I went from I'm just gonna be blunt, I'm a lard ass and I was eating way too much junk food like all the time. So just putting it out there like I was a couch potato just sitting around gaming, stuffing my face with chips and shit all the time.
Well, you were
So
saying you were you were healthier when you were doing that.
right,
So
right. I weighed less when I was doing that. But she said basically what she thinks happened was I was eating a ton at once, you know, binge eating and stuff. And then I was like, no, I'm going to eat healthy. And I've been drinking a ton of water now, which has reduced how much I'm eating. And I'm not a breakfast eater normally. So I haven't been eating breakfast. And then some because I was trying to eat healthy, I wasn't eating much for lunch. And I was basically just eating dinner
yeah.
and maybe like some celery or carrots here and there. Well, those don't have hardly any calories at all. So she was like, you went from a surplus of calories to not eating enough calories. So your body's just like, I'm starving. And so it's
Yeah.
just packing on the fat because it's hungry and it's wanting to, you know, conserve every single calorie. And um, yeah,
You're like, can
so
you just work with me, body? Like we're just trying to
yeah,
be healthy. Like I gave you vegetables. What more do you want?
right. So So instead of eating celery and cucumbers and a few carrots, like yesterday, there's this salad I used to make when I was doing keto where it's cucumbers and then some cherry tomatoes, but I wouldn't use very many of those because I was trying to eat, you know, with less sugars and tomatoes have carbs in them. And then avocados diced up, and you just mix it all together. And the avocado, because it's kind of a soft texture, you know, it kind of almost makes it like a creamy dough
Yeah.
and it's really, really good.
Is
So I
it?
made some of that and put just a little bit of red onion and some celery in it to give it a little bit more substance, but like two avocados and all that. And then I had that salad to eat on as a snack, you know, and it had the good calories and stuff in it. So
I want to like avocado so bad, and I feel like I don't.
I
It's just
love
like,
avocados.
and I keep trying to add it to things. Like I've been doing, I've said a couple times I do the chickpeas instead of tuna. So I made my own avocado mayo because I kept finding avocado mayo, but it's all avocado oil mayo. And I'm like, no, like avocado could
Actual
be,
avocado in it.
yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to make my own. And like, it was fine. I think I need a better recipe, but I'm trying to like do that. And I'm like, I need to be adding more avocados because I feel like I don't. And I feel like it is a food that like, we all want to believe that avocados as a trend was just like, oh, those crazy Californians with their like weird food,
I
but it
love
really is a
avocado.
superfood. Like it really is just so good for you. Like California just made it sound douchey, but like it really is just like it's such a like powerhouse food that like you should be eating. And I just feel bad every time that I like hate it and I get like sushi. And they're like, oh, do you want the avocado eel roll? And I'm like, if you put avocado anywhere near my eels, I'll kill you. Put cucumbers in there. Um, but yeah, I'm like, I want to incorporate more
You could
avocados.
add
I just don't know how.
avocado onto anything, and I would be like, yes. Like ice cream, make it avocado ice cream. And I'd be like,
I
oh,
actually did. I made avocado ice cream. I'm dead serious.
joking.
One of
I would eat it.
one of
I'm not
my
joking that I would eat
it wasn't good, but so one of the coconut milk ice cream things was mint chocolate chip. And I was like, oh, I would love a mint chocolate chip ice cream. And they said, like, instead of adding food coloring, you can add an avocado to it to get that green color. And I was like, well, obviously, adding an avocado to it is going to make it a more natural and healthier version than adding food coloring. So why wouldn't I add the avocado? But just wasn't great. But I really think that it's because I don't have an ice cream maker because what I'm doing is you like blend it together. So it's like all whatever. And then you put it in the freezer, and then every so often you just stir it.
Yeah.
So when you portion it out, it'll like kind of crystallize, and it's not that like nice soft serve texture that I know would happen if I had the ice cream maker, but just I won't give up my Ben and Jerry's. I won't do it. And I've gotten better about like not eating Ben and Jerry's that much because I used to be that person who like would get the pint of it because I never get like I like that they only come in pints because I always get like the giant thing. But I get it, and I'd eat the whole pint in one sitting, and it's like, that was 3 servings, right? And I'm like, fuck you, Ben and Jerry's, like, leave me alone. So, so I still get it, but now I don't eat the whole thing in one sitting, and I am like, I'm eating multiple meals a day, so my body knows like all you have to do is wait like 3 hours. And one thing that always throws people off is that I eat such tiny portions. As if I cook for myself, I'm like, I don't want like a ton of food. Like I have, those like small takeout containers that are like just so the small takeout containers that like your sauce comes in. I will just fill that up with something, and that is enough for a meal for me. And so when I was meal prepping, and I would have all this stuff, and I'm just like, all right, this has been in here for 2 months, and I don't want it, and I'm not going to eat it. So I would like give it to one of my friends, and he's like, what is this? He goes, I need 6 of these to be a meal. And I'm like,
I would
I'm
too.
sorry. I'm like, I don't like it because I found that when I eat like the giant meals, I just feel like shit. Like last
Well, I
night, I
feel
got
like shit, but I like to eat. So, like, I'm one of those people that can eat a whole bag of Doritos in one sitting if I don't
well,
stop
Doritos don't like
or
it's different. Like
Pringles
I can put away a bag of Doritos in a sitting.
or like even at a meal, like if like we're having Mexican chicken that my stepmom makes that's really good, like huge bowl of it and give me another huge bowl of it and like halfway through the first bowl I'm already full, but I'm like it's so good though, I just can't stop. Like I know that
Yeah.
I'm gonna be miserable, but I don't care. Like
That's
I'm
what I went
bad.
I went to a restaurant on Friday night, and they gave like the sandwich that I got was like 1.5 sandwiches. And then I had fries with it, and I'm like eating it. And then, I'm like, okay, like we need to go because I don't want to eat any more of it. It's delicious, but like I can't keep picking at it because if it's in front of me, I'll just keep eating it. So that's why I like the small portions because then it's like if I need more, I can go make another one. It's very simple to just like grab another one and make it. But typically, if I, will eat
Like,
one
I
of
don't feel
those.
like getting back up and doing that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. My laziness will win every single time. So I'm looking.
It sounds good you don't have kids
Yeah,
because my laziness wins, but then I'm like, Lillian, will you go get me this?
like I need some chocolate. Bring it closer.
Yeah, but no, what I normally do when I'm eating keto, normally, like, I will eat a big bowl of just like ground beef or things like that because I can.
Well, you know what? I've heard that like keto, like it's such a weird
I can do
diet
keto
because
when
like
I'm
you
not
literally
sick.
have somebody that's like, I'm eating 12 eggs and that's my meal. And you're like,
I'm
feels
doing
wrong.
3 eggs, not 12. 3 in the morning.
I know
Uh,
you got to work up to 12.
yeah.
Well, plus you only have the one chicken. So like,
Well, I tend to not be as hungry though when I do keto, and I don't know if it's because you eat so much protein that you feel more full, um, but I tend to do better. Once I get over that keto flu period, which I'm still waiting on kicking in, I'm guessing it hadn't kicked in. But I was eating so much healthier. I'm like, I don't really know if I'm going to get that or not. But um, no, it's normally what I do is I eat a lot of bacon, a lot of hamburger meat, a lot of steaks. I'll eat some shrimp; those do have carbs in them, but I still will eat shrimp and fishes. For the good oils and stuff. Of course, after Seaspiracy,
I
I
was
don't
gonna say we
yeah,
learned that actually you should just be eating a bunch of algae. Just go and lick some rocks.
yeah. So I'll do that, and then one day a week I'll have designated as my cheat day, and I will literally eat whatever I want that day. Like go like balls deep in whatever food that I want. Like, I'm going to do that. But it's almost like it re-kickstarts my keto every time. And my thinking is because that's the day I'll eat like baked potatoes and, things like that where I'm not really eating bad. I'm just eating carbs. Like I'll eat bread and pasta and things like that. But what I have come to the conclusion, I'm not a fitness or health expert, so don't take this as fact. It's just the way I've figured it out for myself is, my 6 days a week that I'm eating high fat, low carb, my body is burning fat as fuel instead of carb.
Mm-hmm.
Then the one day that I'm eating carbs and not eating fat, it's just burning my own fat off because it doesn't burn carbs for energy. It burns fat.
Yeah.
So it burns. It's like I will lose more weight the day or two after that day than what I normally lose. And so I'm thinking it's just burning off my normal fat that's stored because I'm not taking in as much fat because that's the day I'm eating a bunch of carbs instead of fat. And since my body isn't burning carbs, they just kind of go through me that day. Is my rationale of it. I don't know if that's how it is, but it seems to work. So that's what I've come to the conclusion of.
See, I would love to try keto, but there's just so many parts of it that I can't eat. There are cats fighting under my table. So like I want to try it, but I've done and I don't believe in food sensitivities. Like I know that they're real, but I don't know how real. Like I know there's some issues. So I did like one blood test.
Yeah, I know there's allergies, but the sensitivities, I'm kind of with you.
Yeah. Yeah, like the allergies I get. The allergies 100%. But the sensitivities, like
maybe your body's just not used to eating that, or just it's.
Well, let me tell you about mine. So I did a blood test back in 2014 because my chiropractor was like, "Hey, you want to do a food sensitivity blood test? It'll cost you nothing. We'll just bill it to your insurance." I'm like, "Sure." They would. I love my chiropractor because they literally like every single thing that they offer. They're like, "We'll just bill it to your insurance. We don't care you want." I'm like, "Throw it all at me. Just give it, just whatever you want." So I got like so much stuff just because they were like, "It's free," and I'm like, "I love free." So they did the blood test, but it was a very upsetting blood test because it came back with like, you're sensitive to everything, to the point where like I met with a nutritionist and I was like, "Listen, I'm looking at these results and what can I eat?" And she's like, "Oh, you can eat like meat and potatoes." And I'm like, "I'm very poor." Like in 2014, like I was not rich enough to like be eating meat at every meal or even like every day. So I'm like, if all I can eat is meat and potatoes, like I can't do it. But some of like the main
get the big
what?
20-pound bag and live off potatoes.
I know. Well, actually, you can. Potatoes and butter, if you eat them, you can eat potatoes and butter, and it is a complete food. You get all of your nutrients from just potatoes and butter. So I'm always like curious about that because I was like, that's an interesting way if you literally
That's
just
my
eat.
grandpa when he was mayor. Like at City Hall, they would have like a competition every year on who could lose the most weight, and so he would purposely gain weight right before it, and then eat nothing but baked potatoes like during it, and I think like take like a laxative or something right before the weigh
Yeah,
in,
you gotta.
and he'd win like every year.
So you're outing your grandfather as a cheater. Well
Yeah.
done. If anybody is
He
watching
wasn't
this,
cheating. He just had a method to
yeah,
win.
he just he was working smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
But
if he
yeah, so like
had sugar-free Reese's, he could have
yeah,
done that, and that would clear.
them sugar-free gummy bears that all of the reviews
Oh yeah,
online are like, these will
those
fuck
things.
you up.
They will.
So some of the foods on there, I was like, oh, this actually makes a lot of sense. Like every time that I eat bananas, I do get very nauseous. And it's weird too, because I love bananas. I love banana bread. But I did notice every time I would eat bananas, I'm just nauseous for hours with like, Tums don't fix it. Nothing works. I'm just miserable. So I was like, oh, if I'm sensitive to bananas, that actually makes a lot of sense. And then like yeast. So I'm allergic to yeast. And that one actually, yeah. So yeast is in every food, which is why it's so hard. But that one actually gives me that one actually affects my skin. So like I would get in like my inner elbow, I would get just like little brown dots, and I get a bunch of those. I have like a patch on like my sternum that is like, you know, a brown patch on there. And then I have some around my bra line too. And I was wondering, I'm like, what is this from? And at first I thought it was from wheat because I'm also sensitive to wheat, both brewers and bakers. So I was like,
You need to do the cucumber, celery, carrot diet and just
that's, yeah. So
potato.
yeah, so like so I thought it was originally from the wheat because I know that that can give you a reaction, but they're like, no, if it's a wheat, it's going to give you like dry, scaly skin. And I was like, no, there's nothing wrong. Like it doesn't itch. It's just it's discolored, and like some of them are just perfect circles. So it was like super weird. So I reduced how much yeast I'm eating, and like the ones on my inner elbow are gone. And most of the ones on my
Try a high alkaline diet to see if it will put your pH levels.
I don't believe in alkaline.
I don't really either, but I've watched the Seeking Sister Wife and they're like very strict on that. And so like before that first second wife that they had, like anyone who sleeps with him has to do high alkaline for 2 weeks so that they don't get yeast infections. And it keeps them from getting yeast infections.
I've never had a yeast infection. So like,
Like the yeast can't live um, in your body or, you know,
well, I've had like,
if your pH
so,
levels are too high,
so I've had, it's not like a yeast,
supposedly.
yeah, it's not like a yeast infection. It's caused by yeast. I think it's like candida or something,
Yeah.
but that discolors your skin, but in a weirdly different way where I would still get the brown like spots. But when the sun hits them, all the melanin would go from them. So then I would just have like super, super pale because I'm already very pale. And then they would be even paler. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So I had that, and then I got like a pill for that, and that kicked it out. And then, but the one that I have now, like it's literally just it's from eating yeast because it is going away because I've reduced the yeast. The wheat, like I try to eat less wheat. And but then there's stupid ones too. Black pepper. Go ahead and tell me something that doesn't have black pepper in it.
That's
Um,
weird.
and they told me too, they were like, oh, and then the reason I can't do keto is because eggs and dairy are also on that list. The dairy is specifically because of it's not lactose. I'm not lactose intolerant. I am casein intolerant. So like casein is the other protein. So like some like cheeses, like goat cheeses, either low or no casein. And then I think like Greek yogurt is also low or no casein. It's like I can eat some dairy without having an issue. But then
I
like,
wonder if that's what mine is then, because so like I had to have the soy milk and all that when I was an
mm,
infant, and supposedly I'm lactose intolerant. But there are some cheeses and stuff like I don't have any issues with.
yeah,
Like there's and like yogurts a lot of times I won't have any issues with. Um, just like randomly, like if I
yeah.
drink a glass of milk or whenever I eat ice cream, a lot of time those are gonna come up.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, yeah, so I can't do the dairy and I can't do the eggs, which are a big part of keto. I don't like bacon. It's fine. I don't love it
Yeah,
like
I
everybody
used to
else.
do bacon when I was doing keto. Um, but I'm also the type like I love bacon, but at the same time I cannot eat bacon and I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like it's one of
Yeah, so
those
that's where
things
I'm
like
at.
I
So
can
yeah,
get
so
over
like
it.
I have that. There's a couple of vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower are on that list, which pissed me off because I'm like, but all of the substitutions for all of these things that I can't eat are made with broccoli and cauliflower, and I can't
Yeah.
eat broccoli or cauliflower either, which is why I was like looking at the nutritionist, like, are you fucking kidding me right now? So yeah, so I have like there's a ton of spices. Vanilla is another one that I'm like supposedly not supposed to eat.
How do you have like banana pudding? It's got
Well,
bananas
banana
and
pudding will
vanilla
kill
in
me.
it.
Um, but so it's one of those things where like I've learned my body through the years and like what I can and can't eat. Like if I know I'm eating something with bread at night, I will make sure I don't eat anything that, you know, has any of those ingredients. And I kind of just try to like minimize how many of the things off this list because this is literally like a 25 item list. Um, that I just shouldn't eat. And they told me too, they were like, well, it's a sensitivity. So if you just cut it out for 90 days, you can slowly introduce it back in. But honestly, there's just too many things on it that I'm like, I don't even care. And some of the things, like I've never eaten oysters, and oysters are on the list. I'm like, so how are you going to tell me that I'm sensitive to oysters when I've never eaten them before?
Right.
So that's why I don't really believe it. And then back in 2020, I went to the doctor and I was like, hey, I just want to do like an updated blood test. Like I want to just kind of see where we're at. So I did an updated blood test, and now I'm more upset because it was a different one. And it gave me a list of 15 additional things that I'm sensitive to. So now like soy is on the new list. Shellfish is on the new list. There was a couple other big ones. I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. I can't eat food. Like that's essential for me. And it sucks too, because I'm like trying to tell people
drinks,
that.
but you can't get the ones that are milk based.
Yeah. So like it sucks because I talk to people and I'm like, I do have these sensitivities. So when I cook for myself, I will cook and I will use dairy substitutes. I will use egg substitutes. I will use substitutes for everything I can. But then it's like, well, what are we supposed to eat if we go out? And I'm like, we go out, I'll just eat whatever I want. Like, it's not like it's not sustainable in the real world.
It's not like an allergy where you're going to go into anaphylactic shock and die. It's just my stomach's going to hurt and I'm probably going to throw up later.
Yeah. So
that's how it is for me with the red meat. I mean, it's usually like 1 to 3 hours after I eat, my stomach starts churning and I throw up until everything's out of me.
Yeah, I'll do, so I had really bad acid reflux growing up. So my body has like trained itself to not throw up. So when I get nauseous, I just get to be miserable for hours.
Oh God, I hate
because my body will not do it.
I hate that.
And like, even when I'm like, and I think that's why I don't get the flu. I will get the flu very rarely. And I genuinely believe it's because my body is like, when you have the flu, you need to throw up, and like I can't do it. Like it's an ordeal for me to do it. And it's like I'm literally like tears streaming down my face, like, please just throw up, body. You can do it. Won't do it. So I have to like cough until I throw up is how I can do it. But yeah, so like I'm like, I can eat stuff when I go out, but I have to just like minimize it. And I've learned like carrots and cucumbers, if I eat those during the day, I'm less likely to get an upset stomach at night. So it's just like learning these things. And I'm really hoping as I get older that I don't have more issues, because I really just can't deal with it. Like I love cooking and I want to like get back into it. Like one thing I really want to make is zucchini brownies. But like, I need to find a recipe that's like individual. People really love them, and I want to try them. So, but like stuff like that, like desserts and things, I don't want a pan of brownies near me because I will eat the whole pan. I need a recipe that's like, here it's going to make you one brownie. So I found that. I'm debating ordering. There's like this frozen soup brick silicone mold. And so like I'm debating doing that. I was like, oh, I can make some soups in my Instapot, and then I can put them in a silicone brick, and then I just have soups ready to go. So I'm just like planning all of these healthy foods that I can eat that'll hopefully like be better for me, and maybe we'll see. I'm excited to just like cook and get used to it. And I'm very excited about the air fryer because I had an air fryer, but I had the Big Boss air fryer, and that thing was massive. Like it was literally like this big. And it was super tall. It's like, that's not even how tall it was. You can use it. It wouldn't fit in any of my cabinets. It took up all of the space on my counters. And it was a bitch to clean because I couldn't get it fully in my sink. So there's just me like, do I wash in the bathtub? Do I just like deal with it being here? So I gave it to a friend, and he looked and he goes, you do not treat this air fryer right. And I was like, I can't clean it properly. Like it doesn't fit in my sink. Like that's why. And he's like, this is mine now. And I'm like, that's fair. Like give it a good home. But I miss it because it was great for like reheating things and like fries. Like I'm excited. I used to make zucchini fries, so I'm excited to like make those again.
Ooh, I've never made those.
Yeah.
I have an air fryer and I have zucchini.
Yeah. So it's very simple to make them because you just you do, you cut them up into like the fry shape, and then you dip them in the egg wash and then the breadcrumbs, and then just put them in the air fryer.
Breadcrumbs.
Well, you don't have to.
I'm doing
but
a keto.
I'm sure that there's some type of substitute.
But I mean, I could do it in the egg.
Yeah. So then you do that, and you can also do it with carrots.
Flour or something, maybe.
Yeah. You can also do it with carrots. So you can make carrots and zucchini fries. And I think they had like, oh, you can make asparagus fries.
Yeah.
So
I love asparagus.
I do too. And that's the other thing. I'm like looking up recipes. I'm like, oh, I can steam things in this while I cook things in this, and I can have like a full meal, and it can be so cute, and I can be a person that like eats healthy. So I'm hoping between these that I'll like get my like spark to cook back, because I really have just been eating lean cuisines, and lean cuisines are losing their appeal. And I'm like, I want like fun food, but since I work nights, it's all reheated, so it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I would love to like come home and like get to eat it fresh, but now I have to like look for things that'll like be good reheated. So yeah.
All right. I know we were going to talk about the other thing too, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say this has been about an hour, so I think we're probably fine.
Yeah.
So call it for this one.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it. The Ipsy bag and my health results and our food stuff. I don't know what you'd call this.
I know our food preference. Like we just want to talk about food for a long time, and nobody gives us this platform. Like if anybody has like good recipes, send them, please. Like air fryer, Instapot, keto, like
without red meat. I need those.
you can always adjust them. One thing that I always do is I do regular recipes, and I literally just will add, like I'll do a lot of vegan cooking, and I'll just add chicken on top of it.
Yeah.
So just adjust it for whatever.
I did try eating turkey, ground turkey, like I would normally eat a bowl of ground beef.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, and I was like,
I only do ground turkey.
I do like ground turkey, like for spaghetti and things like that.
But you can't just eat a bowl of ground turkey.
It's not good like ground beef is. Like ground beef, I can just like salt and pepper it and just eat the bowl, and it's like it's so delicious meat. I love it.
Yeah, I do. I would do taco bowls with ground turkey, and that was really good.
Yeah, like I can use both the veggie crumbles or ground turkey or ground chicken in like chili or tacos or anything that uses like seasonings, and it's good. Like it's not that big of a difference. But anyways,
yeah,
that's it for this week.
Yeah, drop your recipes, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. All of those things, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.